It's Saturday, and I'm going to begin a new series on the book of Daniel. You need to stay with me on this one if you want to know predicted future, what has already been fulfilled, and what's coming yet. Not only that, but the book of Daniel is one of the greatest books teenagers. You got teenage kids, and they need to develop some character and conviction. I'm going to show you how Daniel and his friends did it. Okay? Very, very valuable information that I'm going to share with you. A lot of people have a hard time understanding the book of Daniel. Okay? And I've studied it for many, many years. I got a good grab on it. And I want to help you to understand it as well. One of the reasons, and let me just give you a little bit of introduction here. We're going to really start on this on Monday, but let me give you the introduction so you can see where we're going, kind of like the big picture. The book of Daniel has 12 chapters. It's written in two different languages. It's written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and then back in Hebrew again. And this is what throws a lot of people off, is because there's a change that happens through the book. Not only that, but the audience that Daniel is writing to changes. In Hebrew, it is primarily written to the Hebrew people. In Aramaic, it's written to the Gentile nations. And there's a reason for that, as we're going to see in prophecy. Now, if you were with me in Revelation and in 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, you're going to understand a lot more than others that were not. But here in Daniel, we're going to get the prophetic timeline for the ages, all the way to the end. Every prophecy in the book of Daniel has already been fulfilled. It was predicted in Daniel's time under a number of different kings. All those prophecies were fulfilled except for one. And I'm going to explain to you what that one is. Okay, this is what throws a lot of people off. From chapters 1 to chapter 2, verse 3, the Bible of the book of Daniel was written in Hebrew. Okay? From 2:4 to 7:28, it's written in Aramaic. And then from 8 to 12, there's only 12 chapters in the book of Daniel, is written primarily for Hebrew. In Aramaic, it's showing the judgment of God that's going to come on the nations, all of them. For the Hebrew, it's given them hope and redemption. All through it out, whether it's for Gentiles or for the Jewish people, it demonstrates that even though Israel had been pulled into captivity under 3 different deportations under Nebuchadnezzar, God was still in control. And Daniel is going to be given this dream and this vision, and he's going to explain and outline the history of the Gentile dominance all the way until the raptured return of Christ on the day of wrath. Okay, and I'm going to give you that prophetic timeline to the very day. This is an exciting book. Okay, not only that, but you're going to see in how did Daniel and his friends were able to defy 4 teams that defied and stood alone, taken away from their home, away from everything that they knew, put in this very dangerous place, and defied the king. In many ways, we are in that same boat today here in the United States. So if you want to know how to stand up for righteousness' sake, and God placed those people there for that particular purpose, for that particular time, to demonstrate that God was still in charge. Even though Nebuchadnezzar for a while was, Cyrus, Darius, Belshazzar, these other kings were there, God was still in charge. And he's going to do amazing things in a lion's den. He's going to do amazing things in a fiery furnace. He's going to do amazing things by writing a language on the wall with a finger that appears out of nowhere. You're going to see amazing visions. You're going to see dreams. You're going to see how all this prophecy that was written down by Daniel, how it actually became fulfilled all the way to the fall of Jerusalem after the death of Christ. And then how it's going to get resurrected. You're going to see all that. So if you want to understand the timeline of the ages and how all the books of the Bible fall in place, you got to understand how God is working through the world on his timeline and how history fits in on it. Okay? Without this understanding, you're just kind of guessing. Okay, this is what will help you to open up the Bible and see it in a different light. And God is going to give you a lot of insight. He's going to give you a lot of wisdom. And he's going to give you a lot of discernment for the times that we live in. And he's going to show you how to stand alone. Okay? I cannot emphasize enough. If you got teenage kids, if you got a youth group and all that, they need to watch this presentation. Okay? I've taught this book many times. A lot of applications are going to be drawn out of it. I'm going to illustrate it. I'm going to do a lot of diagramming and everything for your benefit. Okay, let me turn this over a little bit. Let me show you something. I'm generally going to do this maybe once a teaching, because people ask me, hey Manny, how can we support your ministry? Well, let's just take a verse. Okay, let me break it down to you. So I want you to understand this in a way that's going to be pleasing to God. It's also going to be helpful in a way that's going to benefit you, not only now, but later. One of the key verses, the Apostle Paul, he was writing to a lot of churches. And he said in Philippians 4:17, not that I seek the gift itself, what they want to contribute, but I seek the profit which increases to your account. In other words, you're going to make an investment that someday you can make a withdrawal. You don't make an investment, you're not going to get a withdrawal. I often tell people when they're developing relationships, I says, you know what, you're bankrupt. You put nothing into this relationship. Why do you want to take something out? Okay, well, the same thing's going to happen when we get to heaven. Let me show you how this works. This is you. You send your gift to whoever. It may be to a church. It may be to missions. It may be to a particular teacher. A lot of good Bible teachers out there. Okay, it may be to a specific need. Okay, when you give that gift, you're actually giving that to God. God takes note of that and he jots it down to your account. These are where you build your treasures in heaven. Okay? And he jots down everything you've done and you give. And remember when you gave that, when you did that, remember that person had a need, remember you contributed that, maybe. All that's recorded. And when you get to heaven, that's where your treasures are going to be. Now, there's a prerequisite to this. God loves a cheerful giver. He does not like somebody to give grudgingly, out of compulsion, or even worse, what a lot of preachers and teachers do is they tell you, if you give something to me, you're going to get something in return. And I'm not going to promise you that at all. Because the Bible doesn't teach that. The Bible does tell you and teach that you're going to get two things. One, you'll get a blessing from what you were instructed or learned. You'll get wisdom, discernment, you get good Bible teaching. Two, when you get to heaven, that's when you get your reward. Okay? So let's make that really clear. No matter where you give or to who you give, here's an opportunity to increase to your account. I got 4 different ways you can do this. You can do it to Cash App, it's just a little $ Manny Di Benedetto, to Venmo, Manny-Martinez-814. For those of you that don't trust that system, you can always mail to a check to Bernie, Texas. I have somebody there that will deposit the check for me. Or what I just discovered, there was a thing called Zelle. But you need my phone number in order to do that. You just private message me. I'll send that to you. Okay, that's up. I'm not going to do it again for the book of Daniel. Okay, let me go back. One of the most amazing things that I discovered is what these teens did. Okay? And how they were able to do that. It was more than just character. They were building on a conviction based on a certain thing. I'm going to share that with you on the next video on Monday, Lord willing. Okay? Please tell people to follow this. If you want to understand the times that we're living in today, you want to understand where we're going, you want to be given encouragement, in spite of the sorry administration that we have, God is still sovereign. He's still in control. Okay, and more important, pray for this. Okay, pray that it would get out. You get this message, share it. You got a share button on your Facebook. Share it with other people. Okay, so they can know. I'm going to explain it. A lot of people don't understand it. You're going to understand it by the time we're done here. I guarantee it. Okay, God bless you. Have a great weekend. I'll see you all on Monday.